Okay, this is Lynn David Hart, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to show how I used to make these drip edges for replacement windows I used to do years ago. Whether new construction replacement, or if you put a new construction window in a wall that's already sided. I just want to show how I made these drip caps, and it was actually a mistake. And then as I was working, I said, you know what? That's not a mistake. I'm going to use it. And then that's how I went on to do probably hundreds of windows just that way. And this is just, these measurements are just, they're just off the wall measurements. I'm just doing these real quickly, and not off the wall, but they're, I got inch, 5/8, 2.5, 3 3/4. I'm just doing this real quick. I want to show how I do this and how it was a mistake, but I salvaged it. And I was telling earlier, the guy that I was working with, or the guy I was working for, I'm sorry, he was telling me about his army story, his army stories there. And anyway, let's make this piece. 1/2 inch first. This is a drip cap. That's half. This is 5/8. This brake's tired. It doesn't like to bend much less than a 5/8. I could crank up the adjustable links, but if I did that, I would only be putting more pressure on the whole works. So this is just for showing you how I'm doing this, that's all. Now, I was telling earlier how when I get to this point, instead of trying to take this piece out of the brake and trying to hook a tape on here or measure back this amount of measurement, whatever I made this just now, whenever we're trying to do that, I'm just going to leave it in the brake, pull it out to a certain point, take my knife, I'm just going to make a dent. Make a dent there, and I'll make a dent right there. Those dents are going to show up on the other side. You can see that. There's one. Put a crosshair through it. There's the other guy. That saves me the trouble of pulling my tape measure out. Now I'm going to go ahead and make the drip cap for a window. And you might say, well, ain't no big deal, that's a drip cap. And you're right, it's not a big deal. Here's the part that I was talking to this guy. He was telling me he was in the Army, and he said he was a medic, and he said that the show MASH was just like, he said that was exactly what it looked like. Anyway, I thought I had scored it. I'm sitting here talking to the guy, and I'm like, ooh, I forgot to score that. So I bent it right on over, and I made a hem out of it, and I made myself a piece of drip cap. I left the flange on, so now I have a nailing flange. You can see that. I got a nailing flange on a drip cap. Normally we used to just make them like this, and we would just put the wood up to the bottom, and that was good enough. Well, that kind of half works, but it's hard to keep this straight. You know, they want to keep wanting to fall out. But with this on here, I could adjust this where I wanted it. After I had the window in, I could fine-tune the siding cut around the window, because the siding was already on. These were replacement windows. These were the windows that was installed after the siding was on. Then I could make this accordingly, lengthwise, and I had this little nailing flange. I could nail this thing where I wanted it. And it worked out very, very well, and we did tons and tons of windows. Now these measurements I just made, they were just, just some measurements that were the same, so this piece will be equal, just to show the camera or the audience. So, but that's how I did it, and I never told anybody. I told a few people, and but I found this out by working hard. It seemed like I always worked hard and never really got anywhere. But this was some of the fruits of my labor, so now I'm sharing it with everybody. I didn't tell anybody at first how I did it, but now if you want to stop by and learn, that's how I made it. That's a window drip cap with a nailing flange built right in. Maybe you say no big deal. It was a big deal to me because it saved me a lot of time, and it made my jobs look very nice when they were done. So thanks for stopping around. This is Len David Hart.